two. What it do, what it ain't, what it is, what it ain't, what it gonna be like. Let me get it right. Let me say it like it's supposed to be said. From the ATL. Peace up. A-Town down. Joseph R. Will III. What's good? We back at it. As you can see, on my blue collar, orange, neon yellow, bright green vest, anything on it got a silvery patch so you can be seen and acknowledged when you're doing these deliveries and heavy, you just lifting heavy stuff all day and doing all kind of production work and anybody under those titles, you know, it's a construction, production, you know what I'm saying. We the ones that make it what it is, y'all. We the end of the chain link. We the beginning and the end of the chain link. Shit. For real. You know what I'm saying? It all starts with us. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. What's happening? What's happening? What's good? Happy Friday, y'all. If you got that kind of schedule where you get off and you got your weekend, for me a weekend just be another day to work. I make my weekend out of any given 3 days, 2 to 3 days of any week. Just okay, I'll take that day and I'll do this, and then I'll do a little bit on that day, but I can't do it the whole day. And then you gotta do what you gotta do, man. We getting it in however we can get it and get it done. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it's moving out here. That's the way it's moving out here. All right, let me see. Set things up appropriately. That'll work right there, just like that. Let's get to it. So, chopping it up with y'all, chop, 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 chop. So we're gonna deal with the multiple elements of ONYXCON, various topics that we cover, because we are multi-niche, as you know, a multi-niche based nonprofit arts and creative lifestyle organization. And I'm just laughing because I see this dude walking by with the nerve to still have on one of them red hats with that stupid slogan. Whew, boy, I tell you bold. I tell you, I don't know. Not the thing to be wearing right about now. Not the way some people gonna feel about it. I don't give a damn. I just see a stupid fool and keep rolling. It's simple and plain for me, but there's some people out here who be like, like you literally walking around with that on? Like, man, please. Anyway, we not supporting that nonsense. None of that nonsense. But anyway, we ain't even gonna get into that today. I don't even feel like yapping about that. I really don't. I'm gonna get back to my fun topics, or it's still kind of heavy, but fun topics, more or less. First, I was gonna start with some news and pop arts, some things that I've been noticing that I wanted to talk about. One would be, did y'all hear that it has been confirmed from Feige, who is the head of Marvel Studios, if you don't know, that they are going to officially make the Blade film. Now, I laugh when I heard this because I told y'all how many years ago? At least 2. I keep saying, if you want real news from real sources and insider speculation, not just hearsay, not just folks who might have a nice cushy job and can afford a basement studio with some neon lights behind them and a gamer chair and a really nice microphone that's right here, and it makes their voice sound really nice, and they sit there and they talk and pontificate about what they think is happening on actual movie sets that I have been on, okay, or near, or have privy to. Because see, now I can speak on some things now that there's already been stuff said about how that went. So see, the way it works in the biz, you don't speak on things because of NDAs until the film or until news of a certain level has been dropped. Now, if you're just adding to something that's already out there, you can say what you want to say, but you don't. It's just a general code in the biz to keep yourself out of drama and not be put on some list of a no hire that you just don't speak on certain things, right? But there's articles and everything that have come out to say Blade, the next one with Mahershala Ali, is still in effect. Mahershala Ali still has the role. It's supposed to be 2028. Now, we all know that could be sooner, but they're giving themselves some time, or at least I'll tell you from experience, again, from insider in the biz experience, if they say 28, they could mean 27. Just being real. That because the timeline of a film, Most movies on a Marvel level film are made between a year to a year and a half. Just if you keep this in mind, you'll never be one of those people that's around here getting caught up in speculation. There ain't no damn speculation. It's a real tight, strict schedule of we ready to make that money. Y'all ready to spend money and sit in the theater and watch a movie? They ready to give it to you because they want your money. So they ain't trying to wait just to be waiting. If they say we're pushing it off, it's for editing and all these other things. But even that, the process of that, this is why I also say about a year to a year and a half. Because the half would usually go into, oh, we had to do reshoots, or there's a longer editing process because of all the CGI and special effects and things, the after effects, not the stuff that was done on set in the moment. I can remember being, let me tell you how real it is for me. I can remember being on set, when you talking about laughing, back in the day, shout out to all my ATL actors and folk who've been on movies for real. We were at the time, Pinewood. It was Pinewood Studios. Now it's Trilith. See? Metro ATL, not just the city, understands what the metro actually is, the big sprawl of it all. They know what I'm talking about, okay? And even some folks who've been here for a minute still don't know what the hell I'm talking about because they don't know Atlanta. They just talk that. It's like, oh, Atlanta. Y'all don't know it. Shut up. You don't know nothing about Atlanta, right? On set, there were commercials running for Captain America Civil War. We in holding doing a reshoot of a scene we had done way the hell back. I think it had been, I know it was summertime. It was definitely summer when we first shot the Lagos scenes for that movie. And that was some of the most fun times I've ever had on a Marvel movie. It was long, it was hot days, there was people passing out, there was folk getting revived, there was folk taken to the hospital. It was real for the heat. But in terms of the fun side of it, and nobody, thank goodness ain't nobody perished from now. They just, they tell you to drink your water and you goofy and you ain't drinking your water. Well, there was folk passing out. You can't have hundreds of damn people in the sun like that, pretending to be in an environment where they would be outside and have these people they don't know nothing about nothing other than air conditioning. So you finally get them outside, you're gonna see who real and who can hang. You're gonna find out. You're gonna find out real quick. But yeah, folk was going through all that, but it was also a lot of fun in terms of, you're watching all of the action you're acting in the action. We were Legos. Shout out to Nigeria, all my Nigerians. And it was a hell of an experience. But then after we had done all the week or 2 weeks or however long it was on that set and thought that was in the can and everything's good, there was a couple of scenes they wanted to tweak, so they did reshoots. And the reshoots were probably, that was summer, like I say, fall. If anything, maybe late fall, I would say. So it could have been, because I know it's still warm. I remember it still being warm. And it's still hot. It can be cool in the evening, but it still be hot in the fall. September, October, it still be hot in the day most of the time. Right? So we're out there at what's now Trilith, then Pinewood, shooting these scenes. And I remember somebody was on their phone talking about, man, look at it. All right, y'all, as I was saying. So, yeah, I'm not as big on period pieces, because unless you pick the pieces correctly and put them together based on something real and not in fictional piece. I mean, hell, you can imagine, Since the perfect example of an amazing, great, historically based but fantasy horror movie, third highest grossing horror film of all time, by the way. Ooh, let me say that again for all the folks who may have been on the back and hating on the great movie, that the third highest grossing horror film of all time, Sinners, score. You suckers! You know what I'm saying? For all them goofies that was talking about that ish in the first week, it won't even make its 90 million. How about $1 billion? And wait till it come out on, fully on streaming and DVD. About to. What? Stop the mess. Movie's classic, period. But there were people who experienced. Yeah, as I was saying, y'all, I'm gonna get back to the main bottom line. I was talking about the Blade film. And I just want to say for the record, I'm happy to know that the film is coming, that it will be made, that I know it's being made more than likely by now. And like I said, my main thing is I just hope it's going to be made in Atlanta. Because a lot of people need work right now, myself included. And it's always been a pleasure to be on Marvel sets. I've been on so many. I mean, like, there was a golden era, so to speak, in Atlanta, and I did 90% of everything that was ever in the city. I mean, not just Marvel, anything that was going on, I was on set. There was a time I was on a movie set at least 2 to 3 times minimum per week, sometimes 3 to 4, sometimes whole week, back-to-back weeks, because you're doing core work and all that good stuff. Had some really great times, and you know, went through phases where, okay, it wasn't as heavy as it was, but then it would pick back up again. But we're in a drought now that's like never before because of everything that's going on. All these finances hit everything, and the film business is an extremely financially tight type of thing. Like, you mess with the budget on that, shut it down. We're not doing it now. Like, it's real simple. It's not emotional. It's very number oriented. The only emotion is what you find in characters on the screen being conveyed. That's it. Everything else is very calculated and all about the bottom damn line. So, and I learned from that experience. I learned how to be a little bit more like that in my own business. You know, I don't want to be shrewd, and I don't ever want to get to the point where I lose my humanity about some damn money. That's why I always tell you, I live off respect first, power then, and then money. You know, some people might misinterpret that about the way I do that, because I've had instances where people have tried to say that, oh, you seem like you all about the money. But I'm like, we're not even talking about no real money. You're talking about, no one said the word million, no one said thousands, no one even said hundreds. We're talking about something that's like buying an item at a store. I got a fee for something. I'm telling you it costs this, and you telling me, well, I thought we was boys. Fool, this ain't a hookup, this is business. Like, I need it as much as you're gonna need it later. You give it to me now, let me flip it, I get it back to you tomorrow. I mean, if we both doing business like that, we can help each other if you got your head in the right place. But if you emotionally looking at everything about money and people in your life, you ain't gonna never make no real money. You're never gonna be able to get ahead of any of these problems, because you got a certain mentality that just does not win. And I've learned that I can't have people around me that are like that. And I admit I've allowed too many people like that in my life. People who do not understand true business. And I got fed up. I got to a point where I was like, you know what? Y'all do you, I'm gonna do me. Like, I'm gonna be over here while y'all keep wondering why it won't work. Like I said, you look at that model of what I've seen, and you know, I'm talking about the best of it, not the work, because it can be bad over there too. Plenty of bad with the way Hollywood uses money and stuff. But on the best levels, like, I've actually been privy to actual budgets and seeing how the money is doled out and stuff. And I'm telling you, it's not a game. You know, being a PA, being a production assistant is where I really learned most of that insider perspective on it. I mean, to the point of even I can remember being on a set where it was one of our jobs, me and other PAs, we would rotate who would do it every lunch period. We couldn't even get in line and go ahead and eat. When you hungry as hell, get to that point in the day, it's lunch finally. You've been waiting 6 hours for it. But you can't jump in the line because you got to count heads. You have to literally sit there with your phone. You cut on a little free counter, or if they gave you a clicker, you have a clicker. Anybody know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. And they have little free ones. You can do it on your phone. And you just, every time you see a new person get in line, you're pushing it so that they can count how many people are going through the line. And then they're going to average that against how many people are using takeaway versus they have plates and actual silverware and stuff, which 2% of the people use. Because they were starting to see a problem in the budget where they felt like, well, if we're going to cut back on how many of these damn takeaway plates we buy and how many bags we buy. And you're saying to yourself, but y'all got millions. And they're like, and we're going to keep millions because we know how to make sure that stuff that's minimal that shouldn't matter won't matter. And we're going to make sure that that stuff doesn't get so high that what seemed like a few here and there, it adds up to hundreds over time. Not to mention, I don't even know all the complete ins and outs of that. I did know that that was part of the logic from people in the office who broke it down to me as to why we were having to do that. But then you add in also stuff that they don't even bother telling you that's pretty obvious if you just pay attention to the way a set moves and works. Man, you got the trash bill, how much stuff is going out the back with trash, and how many pounds, because they charging you per, it's a lot. It's a lot. You can get to a point where you're over your limit with how much trash. So now the trash company wants more, and all kind of stuff. People have no idea. And then you add in, when I would see wardrobe come in, and they have these, I don't know their technical name for them, but they're like these huge boxes, these cubes that'll be full of clothing, right? That they've shopped for all over, from LA to Atlanta to whatever, for a certain look on a show or whatever. And to you, you're just like, well, okay. It looks like you're looking at one, like how much clothes is in one thing. You thinking that ought to be enough for everything they ever needed on this show. And then you look and realize, oh no, they got a warehouse full of these. And then you got to contemplate, well, okay, some of these will be used if they have stunts on the show or whatever. Like a Marvel movie, oh my gosh. If something's on fire, something exploding, you know how many times the stunt person, the actor themselves, all these people got to get redressed in the same exact outfit to make it convincing for continuity for you as all right, y'all. All right. Pardon me. Let me get this thing right. Get this thing right. There we go. There go them clouds again. Y'all can see what I'm looking at. They getting nice and dark gray, like they about to let loose again. Every day we get our tropical rainstorm in non-tropical metro Atlanta, but this is the new weather pattern we're dealing with this year. This was the big year of the flip, y'all. 2025 is the one. But it's always like that on fives. Like, I think back to, I was born on a 5 year of the decade. And I'll never forget, 1985 was a major year when I was growing up. 95 was a big year. 2005 was a big year. 2015 was a big, they're all big years, but in 5 years, everything go in 5 and 10s, but them 5s would be hitting hard. 10s be like, whew, we made it a whole nother decade. But them 5s, that midpoint, man, it'd be a lot on it. Good and bad, all over the place, like every year, but I mean heavy. Sheesh. So yeah, what can you do, right? Keep surviving, keep living, keep thriving, keep pushing. So I'm looking forward to whatever they're gonna do with Marvel's stuff, if it's gonna be here or if anything is gonna be here. Because right now, everything's going overseas. A lot of people don't know that, but this ain't even hearsay no more. They've done articles about it. It's known, if you want to know, that Australia's got a lot of projects. I mean, a lot of projects going on. Canada's popping. South Africa been popping, more so now. Everywhere that was already popping is popping even harder. And they're getting the projects we used to get in Atlanta. So it's everything goes in phases, as I say. And they real particular. They like, yo, we start seeing the politics change in the state. That was the first strike on it changing in Georgia. It was like, oh, y'all want to be all super racist and crazy and disrespectful to women and their rights and not, you're so busy categorizing everything under liberal and woke that you want to say everybody ought to do it your way or no way, even though y'all a bunch of perverted weirdos. Okay, all right, we out. That was the first threat. They was like, all right, the hell with y'all then, we out. And for everybody that didn't leave with that wave, they were just waiting, biding their time, stacking their chips, until they just overnight disappeared. Like, oh shit, wait a minute. What happened to that movie and this show and that? We ain't doing that here. We got too many people on our staff that would look at us like, y'all done lost y'all damn mind. We gonna stay in this state where I can't even live the way I know I live and I'm a responsible adult. You gonna tell a woman she don't have control of her body? But folk was out. They was like, enough is enough. And I can't blame them. I mean, if you got that kind of money, let them know with your pocket. You ain't gotta say nothing else. Just, hey, when you ain't there and they back to their humdrum reality, a lot of wake up happens, So when I had to make it very clear, when I say I love Atlanta, I'm talking about a spirit and an energy of specific places, events, and good people I know. That's all I'm saying. That's for anywhere on earth. If I say I love it, I ain't talking about the whole thing and all of it. If somebody's in office I'm not agreeing with and all that, that is damn sure ain't what I'm talking about. If I say I love that place, I'm talking about the good people that make the place what it is. I ain't talking about no stupid ass politicians. I ain't talking about them. No, we ain't talking about that. They ain't not talking about that. Hell no. Talking the people, man. The people that really make it what it is. The good ones that got their head on straight. The productive, hey, functional ones. We don't get into good and bad. Like I always say, good and bad is objective. You ain't been raised a certain way, you think a lot of things are good that are totally ass backwards. Just look at the results. If the results are not productive in the way you say you want to be, like you're saying one thing, but your whole reality is a whole nother. Well, okay, I guess what? That's called dysfunction. But when it's, man, we say we do it this way and it's functional. I see it, man, it's thriving. Y'all got organic gardens, the kids happy, the families are happy, the couples are happy, you got husbands and wives, you got girlfriends and boyfriends, you got people literally surviving and thriving, and they can do what they want when they want. They got happy smiles on their faces. There ain't nobody walking around mad and shit. People say hi to each other. Man, that's functional over there. I want to be in that functional shit. Hell yeah. That's all I know. That's all I know. That's how I pick places to go when I'm traveling. Man, let me find a place where it's all angry and crazy, and the chances of getting robbed are just the same as walking around. And we just keep going. Let's go. So, I was just saying, like, so with the art, okay. Pardon me, people, but I'm back. So as I was saying, right, I'm talking about this tattoo thing. So one of my biggest pet peeves that I realized from when I was watching the Pop the Balloon show, I ain't realized this from today. I'm just, it just kind of capitalized with this moment. There were, I think it's about like 6 ladies in the lineup, or maybe 7, which is pretty average for a show and how they do it. And you know, their taste, right? As a straight man, I got a big problem with certain things. I don't care what the culture, well, let me not go that far. I'll say in most of the cultures, plural, of the globe, even where tribal tattoo traditions amongst the women in the group, like for example, in the Maori peoples, which by the way, tattoo, the word comes from tatau, which is a Polynesian word, okay? I've always said I need to look this up. I'm gonna take time to do it. I'm driving. If I had a second right now, I would do it right now, because I want to tell y'all where exactly in the Polynesian groups did the word come from, which of the languages, because you got, you got a lot of languages. You got the Maori languages, you got the Hawaiian languages, you got, and I'm saying languages because I know there could be dialects and variations, okay? But they are different, and even though some words are the same across, because they are connected. There is a family link, so to speak, between these groups of peoples and how they came to be in what we know as Polynesia. Ooh, oh wow. Yeah, y'all, okay, I'm back. So, I was saying, well, there we go. Now the timer's rolling. I was saying, so in the traditions of tattoos, and yes, modern tattoos can become traditions. Things just have to keep going and become established. As simple as that. Now, some things will not. They're just trendy. They're just for now. They're just relevant to now. They're just symbolic for now. And they may come back. That happens. You know, a trend can come back. But a trend don't ever stand the test of time complete until it becomes so established that enough people are doing it that it's just like, yeah, this is a cultural nuance. This is a thing. This will for always be, et cetera, right? So I was saying, you know, in terms of some things that are feminine and masculine in tattoo traditions, to me, knowing enough about the history of tattoos, I'm not saying, let me make it clear, I understand enough about the history of them to know that in some cultures, women did get tattoos on their full body, even in ancient times, okay? I know that. Now, with some of those patterns and how they look and how they, you know, some of them are very pretty no matter how much is on the person. You know, the woman just still sexy no matter what. If she looks good, I know I've seen that. Like there's this one, I think she's Thai or Filipino. I'm not sure. I think it's Thai. Yeah, I think she's Thai. And I wish I knew her name by heart, but I definitely so freaking fine. She's pretty, she's fine. She got braces. If you know what I'm talking about, when the braces come off, she's gonna be double the fine because she already got a cute smile even with braces. And she's super fit. She does Muay Thai. I've seen her like kicking and carrying on. And she loves it. Oh, most of her content is just her strutting down the street, being sexy, talking to people, wowing the men. She obviously got a man who's probably the cameraman because you never see him. You always see the. It's pretty damn obvious. Her boyfriend. You might have some inflated boobies. I don't know that those are hers naturally because they are not too perfectly built. She's otherwise just amazing shape, just as is, just for, you know, constantly working out and all that stuff. And she's tatted hard, like she got sleeves, but her work is a beautiful work. It's not that what I call that old rough, trashy jailhouse looking mess where it's just right. Letter ain't even clear after a year. It's all blurry, and I hate stuff that looks like that. You know, if your ink ain't quality and it don't stay sharp, who did your mess? You need to sue them because they didn't do a consultation or they don't know enough about skin and the variations of people's skin to know. Everybody's skin ain't the same. Some people's skin is going to stretch naturally. It's just a guarantee. Some people's skin don't take the ink the same way, and it's going to keloid a little bit. Some people's skin won't keloid at all. Some people's skin, and it depends on the needle. It depends on the type of ink. It depends on so many factors that people don't even think about ahead of time. They're just going to get some shit on their body, right? And it looks like shit after a few years, if not, you know, give them 10, you know. But some folk, they on some like live for now and die, I don't care, you know, young type of energy. So they're not concerned about how bad it looks because hell, everything they do is on some, I do this for being young. I don't even expect to get old, some of these people, you know. That's not the way I want to live. And so I don't like when I see on women, some of the placement of the tattoos drives me crazy. And on the Pop the Balloon, I know I took all day to say this one thing about one particular tattoo. There's this gorgeous woman who's on the recent episode. Very pretty. It ain't gonna be hard to tell who the hell I'm talking about if you watch it. She's like, there's about 2 lighter skinned women, then about 2 brown skin, and there's one show enough dark skin who was pretty, very chocolate, pretty girl at the end, as I remember. But the one in the middle that I'm talking about, she has this big ass, I don't know what the hell it is. It's like a line, some lettering, and another line. Like it's a freaking sign going across the top of her chest before her cleavage actually begins, you know, with the part of the breast, so to speak. And she's fine. I mean, she got the body. She got some nice full breasts. She got hips. She got curves. From what I could tell, she got some pretty toes. Nice smile, gorgeous smile. Her makeup was a little bit on the heavy on the eyes stuff. She had the big ass, the lashes and stuff. But whatever. It didn't take away from her face. It wasn't so fake that it's like, oh my gosh, take them big ass bats off your eyes. She's a hottie. She's a straight up hottie, right? But that tattoo was irking me the whole damn episode. Like, why do you have a freaking barcode across your chest, woman? It looks like, to a dude like me, that's like you just tatted hair on your chest. Like, you know, as a man, I got hair on my chest. I don't want to see hair on your chest, woman. That's a total turn on. These tats, ladies, y'all got to be realistic. And most of y'all ain't no more. I mean, we saw this coming, honestly, in my generation. It was my generation when women started getting, I'm gonna tell you where it really started. I hate to say, she's probably a legend for this in her own right. And shout out to Eve. Eve, the legendary MC, actress, now she just chilling, you know what I'm saying? She's a, you know, he was into I forget what they call that thing, but yes, indeed. Just think about everything you're gonna do in this life. Now, I admit, one thing I realized. One thing I realized as I get older, like, I've always said I would eventually get tattooed. And I got a lot of ideas for it, right? The older I get, the more appealing it becomes, because I know, hey, I'm pretty settled on stuff that I know I like enough to love it for the rest of my life. Like, I wouldn't get tired of seeing this, and this. I got all these things in my head. There's a lot of stuff that's symbolic to me that I've drawn, that I made up. These are original designs, you know. Some of them are based on motifs that are from all over the world with different patterns and designs, but I've done my own thing with them, and it's still paying homage to what inspired it in the first place, from Polynesian arts to various African arts, Latin countries, but originally other cultures before they were Latin, you know what I mean, like Aztecs. And I got a lot of stuff in my head, right? But if I'm gonna start getting any of that done, first and foremost, I want to deal with the best of the best. I would rather pay the top-notch price and know I'm getting the best quality of work I could possibly get done on my body with the best ingredients of the ink, and all that stuff is so important to me. And I want to deal with an artist that understands that is not just thinking, oh, another paycheck. Yeah, they're just saying, do anything I want to hear to get me in the chair to go through this pain just so they can get another check. No. And I've dealt with some folk at times when I was just wanting to ask questions about the process, and you can hear it in their voice. Just kind of shady type energy, like acting like, yeah, you ought to do it, They realize they don't give a damn. They'll say anything to get me to go ahead and just spend this money. And first of all, what made me laugh every time that would happen is I ain't even got no money yet. I'm just asking because I'm thinking about it. Like, no one said I was ready. I said that when I started this conversation, but they don't hear that. All they hear is, oh yeah, I can convince you to do it. We're gonna get this money. Again, leading with money gives you no power over here, and you damn sure ain't got my respect, because you didn't start with respect. Period. If you respect where I'm coming from as a customer, I might consider giving you the power of being that person that I would consider to give that business, and then you'll get my money. Otherwise, I'm not working to get the money to share a dime with a person that doesn't respect me. It's period, especially for something as intimate and serious as getting a tattoo. So, you know, I think a lot of ladies out here that I see getting stuff, they just, you know, women are not all women, ladies, not all of you, but too many of you are very trend oriented. You are. It's just a fact. A lot of women go with trends. They don't want to be the one that didn't do the thing that was hot when it was hot. Some women don't give a damn. They like, that's the least thing I want to do. You know, but most women, if you mention an era, you say, oh yeah, everybody had, did you hear the beginning of that sentence? Everybody had, in their mind, every other girl, every other woman was wearing this, had that, had to have on this if you had on that. If you were wearing your hair like this, you know you had the such and such, blah, 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 and the da-da-da. Oh, that was it. And this is a big part of, especially Black culture, for trends. We are very much, if you do one thing, you got to do the other thing, because that goes with this, and that's what makes that, set that off and make that cool, and blah, 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 blah. Great. I'm cool with trends that match who you are. I've gotten involved with some trends over time, very few, because they actually, this is made for a brother shaped like me. This is made for somebody with my complexion. This is made for this, that, and the other. It all works for what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? But that's it. Other than that, I'm not interested. It's not appealing to me. It's not gonna be my thing. You know, I'm not gonna just jump on it just because everybody doing it. And I'm not. And if so, it actually makes me go the opposite way. If I see too much of a trend that is associated with something negative, or so, I'm like, oh, well, never mind, I'll wait this one out. And then what I mean by wait it out is like, the funny thing about trends is, you give it time enough, it won't even mean what it meant 5, 10, especially 20 years later. It changes. It'll have a remnants of that, but it won't mean the same thing. So if something is negatively tied to something, like, for instance, when I was growing up, it's sad to say, but man, when I was in middle school, I wanted a starter jacket. My parents was not about to buy me no damn starter jacket, and I understand why. I knew then, but I especially know now why. Because unfortunately, only the D-boys, or the kids who didn't care about getting jumped by the D-boys, get beat up for your starter and your Jordans, would be wearing that stuff. It was not something you wanted to be wearing, because they would literally have mobs of kids from other schools go to somebody else's school and be jumping on folk over their damn jackets, taking their shoes and their jackets and stuff. It was so bad to where kids would put their stuff in their locker before they left school and just pull it out and wear it around just to get their little points with the girls. Dudes pull their stuff out of their locker. But hell, in a little locker, I've seen lockers pulled back, you know, them heavy metal lockers. Kids used to bust the lockers open to get them jackets and shoes and stuff, man. It was so. The day, these were expensive, little windbreaker, nice clean look, cool embroidery and everything. They were nice jackets. The original Star Jackets were really nice, simple jackets, and they still make them, of course. But like I say, now you could get one. You mean somebody might still be tripping on that somewhere in the world, but it ain't what it was. It's not how it was. It ain't to the point where your life is literally in danger just as soon as somebody sees an S with a star next to it, and they in a criminal mind state and would literally cause you physical harm just to take your garment. Like, it ain't that serious no more. Or, you know, a white t-shirt at one time being an instant association with being in a gang or being a D-boy. It ain't like that no more. It's become more just like, yo, that's just the simple, easiest, affordable look if you want to wear it. And that's why I started wearing white tees as a go outside look. I mean, I always had white t-shirts, you know, as an undershirt, but like get a thick, nice one that I like the look for the cleanness of it. I always liked that. And I didn't want to wear it when it was trending because, like I say, it was associated with a certain type of thuggery, and that wasn't me. So I would like, if I did wear a white tee, I'd still have another shirt on top of it with some colors or some kind of plaid or something to set it off different, right? Never by itself. Then I got to a point now at this age, I'm like, man, funny. It's like you wear it now at this age, everybody looks at you like they know you older and they figure, oh, he an OG. He probably used to do that back in the day anyway. So they figure, you know, you're so seasoned, ain't nobody really checking you the same way. Not saying this stuff still can't happen at any age, but it's just less chance. So yeah, I weigh this stuff all the time about that. And I think the same it should be about tattoos. You got to consider, how do you want to be seen? Especially as a woman. Like neck tattoos, man, please, that was out of the question until I would say the 2000s. That's when women started doing all that in America anyway. You know, and it became this urban trend, and then it got to the point where like now damn near everybody does it. So like neck and face, oh my God, you damn sure ain't putting nothing on your face. How hood are you? How gully are you? How rough are you? Like, but now I see women, they got little things behind the ear, little butterflies and stars going all down their neck. And some of the stuff is cute. I ain't gonna front. Now that I will say, when I've seen it like that, where it's still very feminine type themes and cutesy and tiny. And you have to notice it like, wait a minute, what's that on you? You got a little, oh, yeah. Okay. It might pass if you find enough. And if the design is sharp enough and well done enough. But otherwise, these big ass letters and all this other stuff, what gang is that? What you, it looks crazy as hell, man. You looking like the killer. Woo. All right, y'all. Yep, and yep again. So just, you know, it's for everybody really what I'm saying, but specifically for the ladies, I'm saying just be, you know, people don't listen, but somebody might want to hear this. Somebody's trying to make a decision. This might help you push that decision right over into where it needs to be for a healthier consideration. Because, you know, when you're young especially, I know how it goes. When you think you know everything, you might be at that breaking point where you're like, man, I keep doing it my way and it ain't working out for me. These older folk, if you're lucky to have somebody older who gives a damn enough to tell you better advice about how to look at things and knowing how life actually goes. So you're gonna make the decisions you're gonna make for yourself. If you want tattoos everywhere, if you want, you know, every thought that comes in your mind tatted on you, you want it to look like Dear Diary with a bunch of letters everywhere on you and different styles of lettering, and it looks like a hodgepodge of disease on your damn body versus something that's got a system to the patterns and has been tried and proven over generations and eras of culture so that it does actually have an appeal, even though it's a lot, you know, do you, you know, but Don't be mad when you're trying to fit into certain parts of societies and get certain opportunities and doors keep getting slammed in your face, if opened at all, you know, because some things just don't work. And when it comes to relationships, aside from just money stuff, getting a job or keeping any type of work, whether it's job, you know, I ain't on that. I'm an artist, so I understand gig work. But I'm saying there's some gigs that ain't even gonna hire you with a certain look because you're too intimidating, or even if it's not intimidation, they just don't want to deal with the backfire of, we know you cool, you a sweetheart, you a good person, you ain't no evil, but man, your look, it ain't gonna work. I can't put you out there. I can't do this. I can't. So you gotta say to yourself, yo, I want to be at the front of a store, but they always give me the back room. You can't do certain looks and get, some things go with some things and some things don't. I used to have a mohawk. I loved my mohawk when I was doing that. I ain't got no shame about it. It was my era for that. I loved that time in my life. I had a lot of fun with it. But I was always been an artist. I was teaching senior citizens. They thought it was cute. You know, the women loved it. The guys thought I was a trip to do it and pull it off, and they liked the look on me. There was nothing I couldn't do that they didn't like, because they liked me. So it was a different type of work atmosphere. But if I were somewhere else in the right thing, trying to get a job, like, oh, I want this thing and it pays more, I wasn't gonna get hired with that look. Later within the same era, so to speak, but a different part of it toward the very end of that era of my life, I decided, because I had done all I wanted to do with being funky with certain hairstyles and stuff, I cut it off. And I started growing it back, and I had like I'm trying to remember, how was my hair then? I can't remember. I think I had just a standard low cut fade at some point once I grew it back. Because I know that was more or less my look for a long time when I started acting. And yeah, definitely, it was around that time. It was definitely my acting era. So I had applied to be an administrator of a whole facility, and I got so close. It was one of them jobs where, you know, hundreds of applicants, they narrow it down to 10. I'm one of the last 10, and I do the big panel interview with like 5-6 people firing questions at me and all that kind of stuff. And the court reporter style on the side, documenting everything that was said. And I mean, it's that level for like a $65,000 a year type job. Yeah. Not bad for even back then. I mean, you know, it ain't what it need to be now, because honestly, that need to be 100,000 plus. They need to be $120,000 job. But anyway, and it still ain't. I know that job probably still don't pay no more than 75, if that, right? Because of how cheap they be with them kind of things. But anyway, you know, government jobs, and with everything connected to government now, oh Lord, you know, you lucky if you can find a job. You know, all this. Everybody done attacked the DEI and everything. So, you know, hey, what can I do? So I went for that, and I didn't get it, but I was super close. And I never forget one of the panelists, the head people who would have made the decision, saying they were really impressed with me and thought I was so amazing and blah, 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 blah. And it was the worst feeling too, because it was like later after I ain't got it. And I'm like, you know, I could have lived the rest of my life without hearing it like that. But thanks for verifying the fact that I was worthy, that y'all just did some gatekeeping. Like, damn, right? And but that person that I'm speaking of was known to be corny like that. And I remember I shared it with some other friends I had within that system, and they was like, that one there, I swear, like, it be them types, man. And that's where the phrase, people like that be where the phrase gatekeeping come from. It's like, you saying I was completely qualified, so why the hell I ain't get the job? Because I know how much leverage you know, she wasn't the only person that could have pushed the button and said, yeah, he's the one. But they had a lot of weight in the game, to the point I feel like if they had said yes, everybody else would have said yes. So it's like, you're just weird fake with it. Like, what the hell would you even tell me that for? Like, it was weird, y'all. It was weird. But, you know, it's laughable now. At the time, it was infuriating. But I realized, too, I was happy in some ways I didn't get that, because, speak of other ways about life, if I had gotten that job, I would have never had some of the opportunities I later got within a matter of months in the film business. Would have never been on set with some of the legends I got a chance to meet, and opportunities and experiences I had. And I'm just, you know, everybody got to make a decision on what matters to them in life. Some people, like I say, they put money first. So they'll be miserable. They'll die of a heart attack at a job they hate, because the job gonna stress them out. You know what I mean? or they'll end up with Alzheimer's when they get older because the job stressed them out their whole life and they had this pattern of stress. And I'm not trying to be just saying some stuff. I'm speaking from, I worked with seniors who had Alzheimer's, okay? And I knew from my experience, I did a scientific analysis of how many people had it the worst versus what people had it in the first stage and never got to the next stage. Because the ones who never reached the next levels most of the time were the people who had, first of all, they had a lot of support from their family. They weren't assholes their whole life, so people actually loved them and cared for them, okay? But the people who were total assholes and weirdos and all that, and but they had that money, but they had that paper. Them motherfuckers, look, they kids be like, they just waiting on dad and mom to die so they can collect their insurance. I'm just being honest with you what I saw. I ain't making nothing up, all right? Nobody care about them damn people because they were assholes their whole life. And then it's like, the weird thing about Alzheimer's is, once it manifests, it's almost like when a person gets drunk and you see who they really are, but they say, I thought I was drunk. No, that's who you are. You just, you ain't have nothing in the way to show why you act like you. That's you. That's who you really are, right? So, boy, I tell you, and there'll be always the doctors and people like that with these super corporate type. Those will be the folk who lose their mind the worst. And they will progress the worst and the quickest. They would be like literally out of their mind doing some weird ass stuff, you know? That's the ones can't be held and always gotta go. I gotta go. Because they still think they're so important that their Benz and their Beamer is outside. It's like, fool, you waiting on a bus like everybody else here. Sit your old ass down. And I'm joking, I never say it like that, but I'm saying, like, for real, man, it was wild, but it taught me, like, you better, man, cherish the life and understand that don't nobody owe you a damn thing, but you do owe everybody respect and they owe you respect. We all give each other, look at this, it seems like this, no respect. You got a pit bull running around the yard. I ain't getting out with his happy looking ass ready to bite somebody. This is why I gotta drop this damn package. Where he going? I don't even know if he live here. He just running around the neighborhood. See, that's no respect. You got no respect for who else gotta do. You want your package though. See, you want your package though. Where the hell did he go? Cause that's the house. I might have to stay on here with y'all. Just I gotta witness it. This fool try to get me. Okay, I think this is it. Where'd that damn dog go? He done disappeared. Oh, man. Look at here. Uh-huh. Yeah, you ain't right. I know you ain't right. Got nothing to look cute, but you're crazy. I know you're crazy. Let me deal with it.